Good evening. Mike Mucci here tonight. Welcome to Lesson 4 of the LinkedIn Plus Team of Hope training. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. My pleasure to be here with you tonight. So as we continue our journey together, I think you're going to like what we present here tonight. Chuck can't be with us, so we'll just get into a few announcements here to start with, and then we'll get right into the lesson, okay? There'll be no class Thursday, June the 30th. Enjoy the 4th of July. The official launch for the marketing tools will be Thursday, July the 7th. We don't want to start over the 4th of July period. Anyhow, Chuck and Diane are going to be on a trip, on a mission trip. So speaking to Chuck today, we felt collectively that would be the best way to do this, so we could give you our full support. And we appreciate your patience with that as well. Number 3, we will be adding 17 hours of additional training on LinkedIn strategies that reflect the new LinkedIn. So that's going to be a big plus for you as well. We're also going to include training on the LinkedIn Sales Navigator system, which you're going to be able to try out for free for 30 days to see if that's right for you. Before we get started tonight, I thought about something. I know everybody's anxious to get going, but I learned this a long time ago. Don't be in a hurry to show people what you don't know. So we want this to be perfect. We want you to be well trained. We want you to be confident. So with that said, we're going to jump right into lesson 4 here, and we have a couple of parts to that. Number 1, we're going to talk about, the premise of executing a follow-up phone call with confidence and handling objections. We do have some examples on how to handle objections properly. We're going to build that for you. We're going to build an actual script for you that you can learn. But one of the things that we really don't want you to do is read from a script. We're going to create a script for you, and then we're going to pull keywords out of that script that you can have in front of you, that you can articulate what you're saying by just, eyeballing a few keywords in every couple of sentences. But we want it to come from you. Nobody likes to have things read to them. It definitely, to me, it's just not a good way to present things. All right. So let's get started with lesson 4 here tonight. And if you have any questions, you can write them down. You can email them. You won't be selling for a distributorship or giving an app away initially. Only an interview call or a scheduled intro webinar with Chuck Williams. So that's a whole different dynamic. It's a whole different dynamic. So you're going to be taking your prospects through through some steps that, when your positive response is, they're going to be involved in an interview, or they're going to get on a webinar with Chuck Williams. There'll be urgency involved with the webinar. There's only going to be a maximum of X amount of seats for that webinar. They will need a confirmation number to get involved in the webinar. They will need to be invited by you to get to the webinar. Okay? So they'll have all those parts and pieces. In addition to that, one thing I wanted to get back with a few of you on is this. This training is all about getting you in position to select people you want to be in business with, not people that you hope will get in business with you. And there's a lot to that little sentence, and we'll demonstrate to you how to navigate and how to make that happen. All right, just a few things. When you're working on the phone, I wanted to add this into the training tonight. You're going to hear about it tonight, but a lot of us, we see better than we hear. So Chuck and I will create that role play for you. We will record it, so you'll have something that you can reflect back on until you feel comfortable doing it yourself. When you make phone calls, I have found if you stand up and smile when you talk, you will project enthusiasm and energy. Now you can try that on your own, but when you talk on the phone with somebody, stand up, smile, and you're going to be able to project energy and enthusiasm. That's important. Always want to be brief. What I mean by brief, if you're saying more than two sentences at one time, you're on your way to losing that prospect because you're talking at them. And you always got to keep in mind, it's not about who you are, what you've done, what the product and service is. It's about what's in it for them. And when many of you have done the preliminary interview, if you've gotten away from it, you might want to review that in your LinkedIn training. Many of you learned to lead with questions, so that's going to be really important. If some of you have lost those LinkedIn training, you might want to send an email into the office in St. Louis, and we'll make sure we get you copies of that. Another thing, many of you know this, but I forget this myself a lot of times. Don't ask a question that can be answered with a yes or a no. Meaning, here's an example. If I'm interviewing somebody, I might say, have you been entrepreneurial in spirit your entire business career, or is this your initial attempt being in business? They got to give you an answer one way or another. So as you go through the training, we're going to structure the questions you ask so people don't say yes or don't say no. Because a lot of times when you're trying to lead people with questions, you want to get a positive response and feed it back to them. Don't tell people things, ask them. That's huge. Don't tell people things, ask them. Lead with questions. Ask questions people can answer. Okay? We'll work with you on these things as well. If you tell things to people, they were going to doubt you. They're going to doubt you. They're going to think it's hype. If you ask the right questions, they will believe it. Okay? If you say it, they will doubt it. If they say it, they will believe it. How do you get them to say it? You lead with questions. Very important. And that's how professionals do it. So if you want to set yourself apart, from the way that everybody else is doing it, learning these strategies right here, learning these techniques are very helpful. They're not hard to do. Not hard to do. Okay, what does asking questions do for you? Put you in absolute control of the conversation. Remember, if you go back to lesson 1 or 2, people that are really good and care about others, they lead with questions. They listen twice as much as they talk. They listen twice as much as they talk. How do you accomplish that? You ask questions. Let people answer. When they give you a positive answer back, you feed back that positive answer to them. They might say, well, yeah, I've been entrepreneurial in spirit my entire career. I did this, this, and this. And then you might want to feed back to them, say, okay, you did this, this, and this. How did you feel when you accomplished those things? See, you're feeding back something positive. Okay? And I did it again with a question. I did it again with a question. We will create a specific script for you, you know, to lead prospects to a one-on-one call or be a webinar attendee. So we'll do that for you. Okay? But that's what the process is going to be when you do get people that are interested in, you know, learning more about what we're doing here. And it's all going to kind of focus around, you know, our theme is, this is going to be brushed up a little bit, but it's going to be about, our offer is going to be about, you know, small business people marketing, sustaining, and duplicating a six-figure home-based business, dedicating just 1 hour per day. You know, we're going to help them earn income in 30 to 45 days. They're feeling composed, confident, and successful. And we're going to guarantee that part of it where they're going to feel that way. Again, more on this when the tools come out. You'll get a chance to see it. All you got to do is plug and play. And we'll demonstrate that for you and teach you exactly how to do that. So we're going to have a list, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's an email list, whether it's a warm market list, whether it's a list of people you want to be in business with. What we're going to promote is that webinar or one-on-one interview with Chuck Williams. And what it's going to revolve around is how, you know, how to market, sustain, and duplicate a six-figure home-based business. That's going to be our message. Okay, let me go on to the next page. All right, I asked a few of you, I asked everybody to kind of put their homework back in. And what we did is I grabbed three of them, three answers that we got randomly sent, you know, at random. And there's no names attached to any of these answers, but I thought we could go over with them tonight before we got into, you know, the other parts of what we're going to do here tonight in the training. Why would a LinkedIn professional want to be in business with you? Okay, and I looked over the answers about what we expected to come back, and I think we got to do a better job of communicating with you to get people, you know, to have you think about what's in it for the other person that you're trying to get involved, you know, as a prospect. So I just want to touch on a couple of these here tonight. The reason people who will want to join my team is because I will give them the tools and advice to achieve financial success along with accountability and help. I can inspire dreams they want to accomplish and help them achieve success. I especially want to help organizations raise money with Sherlock fundraising platforms. All right. I don't even remember who wrote this in. It doesn't matter. Just about all of them were like this. Okay? Now I want you to think about this from the other person's perspective. The prospect's point of view. How are you going to differentiate yourself from others? And I just don't see in that answer any kind of a motivating or caring or a reason that anybody would want to be in business with this person here. There's nothing stated here about, you know, learning about the prospect, what their goals are, what they want to achieve, how they're going to help them get that, what differentiates your business, marketing and assistance from others. So to me, what I'm hearing here is just a lot of features and benefits. You know, to me, anybody that was promoting a home-based business could say exactly that. So that answer doesn't differentiate. That answer doesn't differentiate that individual. Why would I want to be in business with them? Okay? It really doesn't. So I want to get to number 2. It's not the wrong answer. Okay? It's just not the right one. We can create a much better message there. Number 2, I believe prospects should join me in business because I have good vision. I have taken the time to. I do exhaustive due diligence. I exhibit great patience. Okay. I didn't want to read the whole part of it. What sticks out to you right there? Is there anything in there that's communicating or thinking about the prospect, where they are, where they've been, how they're feeling, you know, why have they failed before, so on and so forth. I don't see anything there specific that would want that. If I was a prospect, I think that would be very difficult for me to get excited about. Okay, so let me go to the next one here. I'm confident, honest, ethical, and have proven track record of success. I care about people I connected with to the point that I've turned away some as I felt they weren't suited for this business or the business wasn't suited for them. I do my utmost to find out what the goals are and plans are. So I just want to comment on that. I think there's one thing that's really good about this part of this, but I think we can definitely expand it. And there's something here that got attention. I've turned some away because they weren't a good fit. Okay, that's really positive that person's thinking that way. That's a big step in the right direction. But I think as we qualify people, what we've got to be able to demonstrate to them is why they should be in business with you is a couple of things. Okay? And I think that one of them is the person that's leading the group has been in this kind of business for 15 years or more and been highly successful. I think that's really important. And I really think when you get done with this class, you know, you're going to find that any kind of person that wants to be successful in any kind of business, you never stop educating yourself. You never stop educating yourself with better ways to do things, especially with lead generation and you know, and client support and different things like that. So I think as we get into the training and we write the scripts out for you, we're gonna clarify this a little bit more for you, because if you think of the term the irresistible offer for people, that you can tell them what you're going to be able to do for them in about 5 seconds or less, and you're going to tell them, you know, you're going to state to them what their pain is and the solution and how they're going to go about doing it. We're going to make that really crystal clear for you, that you're going to be able to say that and understand. When you learn that, it's going to be the answer of what's going to make you unique and differentiate yourself from the other, you know, literally hundreds of people that are trying to recruit people for home-based businesses. And how, you know, when they come in and work with you, their chances of success are going to be far greater, and you're going to be able to, you know, support what their vision is, and you're going to be able to show them the path that they need to be on a daily basis. Because I think what's important here is, how to market for prospects, how to sustain the business, and how to duplicate it. So, we're all going to learn those things. We're going to keep it very simple. So we have to be able to communicate that right away. And, the things people might say, well, you're saying you're going to do this. How are you going to do that? Well, here's how we're going to do that. You could have a one-on-one preliminary interview, or you can come to this webinar. Okay? I'll need to give you a confirmation number. We're only going to have 10 people. Would you like to be one of the 10 people that are going to be on the call? Okay? I'll leave the invitation open to you for 24 hours. If I don't hear back from you, I'm not going to pursue you. I'm not going to chase you. I'm not going to convince you. I've got many more people here that have an interest in participating. That's how you handle this. Okay? And when you start getting real good at just what I just said there, and you really mean it, LinkedIn professionals are going to respond to that. Okay? They will. You won't get them all, but you're going to get your share. You're going to get your share. So we'll teach you basically how to do that. Okay? I call it, just what you've learned in the LinkedIn class, I call it takeaway selling. There's only one thing, a little different. I not only read the takeaway selling report, but I actually do it. And I do it with confidence because it kind of reflects back to what is in number 3. I've turned away some people I felt that this wasn't a good fit for. Okay? So being able to pre-screen and qualify people, getting to come to that one-on-one interview with Chuck or that webinar, or however we set that up, it's a privilege. It's a privilege. How many home-based business prospects do you know would get a chance to talk with somebody that's been so successful in it? It's a privilege. If they don't want to do it, are they really the kind of person you need in your business? I don't think so. Remember, we only need 4 people here. We only need to get 4 people in your business. And then what's going to be exciting about that is one of those 4 is going to become you. And then you're just going to be managing, what those people are doing so they did it the same way you did. That's pretty exciting. That's pretty exciting. So you got to kind of cave in and resist the fact that you might be thinking, I could never do this. I can't do this. Because I think the reason people start thinking like that is they've tried to do too much before. And they've kind of tried and trampled over ideas, and you get really confused. So we're going to work on that, but I just want everybody to know that this isn't hard. It's just a matter of being dedicated every day, doing it the same way every day once you learn how to do it. And you're going to be the facilitator. You're going to facilitate a meeting with Chuck. And from there, we're going to use Chuck's credibility to bring in the team. And then you're going to start managing those 4 people under Chuck's guidance. Okay? Under Chuck's guidance. That's how Chuck is going to duplicate his business. And you're going to do it the same way. Okay? So there's 2 things to learn here. How to bring people to one-on-one interviews / webinars. Number 2, how to, sustain your business and develop those leadership skills, just like Chuck does. And we'll teach you exactly how to do that. Okay. So before I go on here, if you could, I'd like you to create an email me kind of like the script you're currently using or what you're saying when you initially talk to a potential Sherlock prospect. I'd like to know what you do. Do you throw the whole boat at them in the first call? I want you to be totally honest and write down what you're doing so I got a good idea, you know, of where you are and what challenges you are, because everybody's going to give me something different. But we'll pull it apart. Well, we might be able to take some parts and pieces of what you're already saying, but we're going to put it into a much easier and simpler way of communicating, okay? Where somebody tells you no or throws an objection at you, we're going to teach you how to handle that and go on to the next, you know, to the next part of your conversation with them. What does no really mean? What does an objection really mean? I'll tell you what it does. You might want to write this down because it's not in the notes. A no or an objection is somebody's way of telling you they want to know more. Okay? An objection or a no is really tell me more. But when you learn not to ask a yes or no question, you're not going to put yourself in a position where you freeze up when you talk to somebody on the phone. Because if you get a no answer, you know, you didn't lead with the right questions. Okay? So that's going to be your assignment. And down below, you know, we're all doing the same thing. I've just put some objection examples on the page down here of the ones that I use to the questions I get asked the most and the objections that I get asked the most. So read through them. You'll get an idea of what we're going to create for you, and we will create specific objections to the kind of for your needs as you go through this. So that's all I have for tonight. In lesson 6, you're going to get an introduction to the lead generation marketing tools for your online and offline campaigns. Okay? And it's going to be plug and play, and the response we're looking for is getting people to a one-on-one call with Chuck or getting into a webinar. Okay? And we're going to go from there. And you know, the theme of the webinar, I just want everybody to know this. The theme of the webinar isn't going to be to sign up as a Shopping Sherlock distributor. That's not going to be the first step. It's not going to be to get a Shopping Sherlock application. It's going to be dedicated around educating people how and what, you know, the things they need to do to market, sustain, and duplicate a 6-figure home-based business. That's going to be the first thing. It's going to be an education process where they're going to come away and say, wow, this makes a lot of sense. Okay? This makes a lot of sense. So nobody's going to try to sell anybody anything or give away anything. What we're going to do is we're going to use Chuck's credibility. So how do you get people to get involved with you? You care about them. You educate them. You educate them some more. You know, you select them. You invite them to come in. And that's how you posture yourself. So we've taken this to the next level. And you're going to say, well, Mike, how long is this going to take for me to get somebody into my business? If you do this right, you'll have 4 people in your business in 120 days. You can get 1 person in your business every 30 days. And once you get this training under your belt and the tools are in place and you get really good at it, that's what we're going to do. But it's going to be a non-threatening one-on-one interview, a non-threatening webinar, a non-threatening 800 recorded message. Okay? And it's all about showing people ways that they can actually be successful in a home-based business. So that's going to be the first step. Anybody have any questions on that? If you put them in the chat box here, I'll do my best to take a look at this. Anybody have any messages here you want to chat? I want to put in there, or how did you enjoy the training tonight on a scale of 1 to 10? Be honest.
Mike?
Yes.
This is Diane. I did see one question here from Marcus. He says, is this when I talk to them the first time after they have raised their hand? And I don't know when he wrote that, so let's see.
Yeah, I think I can answer that from what he said. Marcus, the message and the response we're looking for initially is we're putting another module in front of what you've been doing before, starting actually interviewing somebody for a distributorship or trying to give them an application. What we're doing is we're putting a separate module, which I call an education piece, that's really pointed at being successful in a home-based business. Okay? It's an introductory piece where they're going to gain confidence in you. They're going to have a better understanding of what is needed to be successful in a home-based business. They're going to get a chance to meet somebody that's been highly successful in the business. So that's going to be the first part and piece to what we do.
Okay, we also have everything sounds great. No, great session from the 3 examples. A 9, a 9. We have work to do, Coach Mike. 10. The homework assignment. Okay, I don't get that. Mike, your trainings are always informative, and thank you for many valid points. Ask better questions, show caring. About an 8, it was a good reminder to ask good questions and listen for their answer, and to answer the questions that they are asking, not what I assume they are asking. No, the homework assignment, is that the first time we talk to them after they raise their hand? I think that's what I already asked you.
Yeah, I'd like to know. I'd like to know what everybody is saying and doing right now. That's all.
Okay. Okay, can't understand this one. As I don't know what that is. A prelim to the prelim, I like it. An 8, I really liked the focus of making it about the prospect and what their goals and dreams are. And no, the answer to the homework assignment is that the first time we talk to them after they were, I'm sorry, Marcus, I keep reading your same question. That's all the questions we have there and statements.
Okay, very good, very good. All right. What I'll do is I'll send these notes over to you, Diane, at the end of this, and then you can distribute them. And okay. Everybody enjoy the 4th of July, and know that, Chuck and I are putting the parts and pieces together, and there's some exciting things to learn from, some of the new LinkedIn material that we'll be going over, and that could be extensive, but one of the things that we're going to be focusing a lot on is the advanced search and how to make a separate list of targeted people through LinkedIn as well. So we'll get to that. Everybody have a good evening, and if you have any questions, you can email me. Appreciate everybody being here tonight, and Diane, thanks for being a good hostess, and have a good trip to Oklahoma.
Thanks, Mike.